This here is my old flatbed scanner. It's pretty heavy, it's pretty big, it's bulky, it's certainly not portable, and it's only really good for scanning individual documents. These are my highly portable scanners by CZUR, which allow me to carry the scanners with me, scan thick books, scan documents and convert them to PDFs, take PDFs and make them searchable. These scanners are going to be the scanners that I use most often in my classroom and in my teaching. Now, you might wonder why I have two. Well, this one here is the Shine Auro Pro. And if you've looked at my videos on the channel before, you know that I've used this fairly extensively. Well, recently I was able to get the new Auro scanner, well, new to me, and this particular scanner is a little bit more aesthetically interesting, and it has some features that the Auro Pro does not have, and the Auro Pro has some features that the Auro doesn't. Let's compare these two portable, easy to use scanners and see which one might be the right choice for you. Both these scanners have a lot of similarities and they have a few differences. So when you're making the decision of which one will work best for you, you might want to take that into consideration. That's what this video is really all about. I'm going to actually talk about the scanners and then I'm going to demonstrate using each of the scanners to do similar tasks. So first of all, the Shine Auro Pro. It's a little bit of a lighter scanner. It has an articulating arm that comes out and then you get height. You're going to have a foot pedal for the scanner so that you can quickly scan. In fact, this scanner scans at about 1 page per second. You also have a USB cable that connects up to your system, and you have a couple of finger cots so you can hold a book open. If you have a book that's got a little bit more thickness to it and you need to hold that open, you can use the finger cots to do so, and they're actually removed from the final scan. This scanner has the same sort of setup. So you've got a couple of lights that are on the side. This is a separate piece that actually clicks onto the back of the scanner. You have lights coming here to distribute a more even lighting to your environment. You have the swinging articulated arm that comes up. It has an LCD screen at the top so you can see the object that you're scanning. And it has the ability to act as a desk lamp. You could use this as a desk lamp as well, but this one here is a little bit more of a compact design. The Auro also comes with a foot pedal, a USB cord, and it comes with a power supply. Now there's actually two versions of the Auro. There's the one that I have here, which is the Auro Pro, and then there's another one, which is the Auro Pro X, which has a rechargeable battery that's inside. And with the Auro Pro X, it's really designed so that it's portable. You can carry it around with you. So both of them could be taken to a classroom or a library where you're doing some research, and then you could scan the pages that you need for your research without having to check out the book or carry a whole bunch of books home. If you only need 3 or 4 pages from a book, hey, bring one of these along and you can now carry a whole bunch of different pages from different books home with you as a scan. Both of these scanners also will use a flat mat that you lay down in order to scan your objects. So I'll be demonstrating that as well. The one that comes with the Auro is slightly larger than the one that comes with the Shine Auro Pro. However, both of these mats provide a background that you place your object on so they get a nice clean scan. The one that comes with the Auro Pro is a little bit nicer mat in my opinion. It's more like a giant mouse pad, so it's got that texture of a mouse pad. It also sits flat right out of the box. The one that comes with the Auro is a little less like a mouse pad. It's a little bit more stiff, if you would. So what I needed to do when I got this out of its box is I needed to counter roll it, and I had to actually make it sit a little bit flat. It's got a little more curve to it still. It still kind of doesn't sit 100% flat, but over time, when it sort of eases, it'll become a flatter mouse pad. So it's something to bear in mind, especially if you're portable. The one that comes with the Auro Pro will always sit flat. This one here might get a little bit of a curve in it, but you can flatten that out with a book or something. So it will flatten out over time. Before I start doing some scans with each of these scanners to compare the two, let's talk a little bit about tech specs. Now they both will scan larger objects, for example A3 size paper, so it's like 16 point something centimeters by, they're pretty big books. So for example here I have a typical hardcover book. Both of these scanners can scan this book very easy, convert to PDF, make a searchable PDF very, very easily. Both of these scanners will scan this particular book, but in this case, the Auro is designed for a little bit thicker books, and because of the lighting system on it, it says that it works better with glossy paper. We're going to test that in this video to see if each of these scanners can scan this book, which has glossy paper inside because it's a graphic novel collected edition. We're also going to scan a very thick book. So this is an example of a textbook for an art class. So this textbook here has moderately glossy paper as well. So we're going to both have a very thick book and we're going to have glossy paper. Once again, when it comes to text specs, the Auro is designed for a thicker book with glossy paper, but I'm going to test them to see. This is a 24 megapixel sensor. This one here is a 14 megapixel sensor. It's not going to make a huge difference depending on the objects you're scanning. If you're scanning something where you need a lot of detail, like a document with artwork on it, maybe you do want the 24 megapixel scan. This gives you about 440 dpi. This one here with the 14 megapixel sensor gives you a little bit less dpi, but for something like a book or a document and such where you're really just using it for teaching and learning, you may not care about that really super detailed DPI. And in fact, for most of the time when we're scanning something that's going to be used on a Kindle or an e-reader, we don't really want high DPI because then we have a larger file size with no really discernible difference in terms of our readability. It's only if we're doing something like for an art project, in which case we may even want to go to some other professional scanning devices that aren't as portable. That's a whole different subject. But for the portable scanning and for this ease of use scanning, whether I'm using the 14 megapixel or the 24 megapixel, even though it seems like a big difference, it's actually not, especially when it comes to reading a book or reading materials. The 300 DPI is kind of the 200 to 400 DPI, you're going to be just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan using both of these scanners. We're going to look at the results of the scanning and we're going to compare the two in terms of the results. Let's start some scans here. So I'm going to put down a book, this book here, and you'll notice that I have a couple of lights. That's the overhead light of the Ultra Shine Pro. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and turn off the overhead light. Because I have enough other light in the room here, it's going to look fine, and that's going to give me much nicer scans. So I can start scanning pages, and you'll notice that I'm using the finger cots here. I'm using a curved book. I have found that I don't necessarily need to use the finger cots that much if I don't have too much of a curvature in the book. So this book here, I probably wouldn't need them for most of the pages, maybe a little at the front, maybe a little bit at the back. But I am going to go and do the scans. And one of the things I want to make sure with the finger cots is that the pattern on each finger cot is seen by the scanner. So that's just a regular book. Let's take another book. So this here is a graphic novel. It's printed on very glossy paper. So when I have the overhead lights here, once again, you can see that with the glossy paper, it reflects quite a bit. The other book, the cover, had the glossy paper. Here you can see I turn it off and I get, again, a nice environment to do the scanning. So this book is fine with the Ultra Shine Pro. So this one here, no problem at all. Again, I can do the curved book here. I want to move it so that the curve line is recognized to be down the middle here. And you'll see that once we review these scans, it's a great scan. You'll notice with the light on that I do get a little bit of glare here. So you can see, especially on the curve there, I get the lights from above glaring. So again, we would turn that light off. Now I'm going to take a large book. So this is a large visual arts book that I have, and you'll notice it doesn't quite fit underneath the scanner. And even when I go to the middle of the book here, so I'm in the middle of the book here, and let's say I put it out, I put the dividing line right in between. This book sits pretty flat, generally speaking, because it's a heavy book, it's a textbook. But you will notice that when I do the scan here, it's not going to do a great job of capturing both pages. It's going to cut some of the page off. Let's have a look. So when I go to look at the scans here, you'll notice all of the scans that I have here, it kind of cuts this page. It doesn't look really great. That's a problem that's going to be solved with the Aura. So the Auro Pro actually is able to do this larger book a little bit nicer. So let's have a look at that scanner. So now same scanner, but here you can see I have more lights. So again, with the glossy cover, if I have the overhead lights, it's going to show me that glow. But look, I can turn on the side lights. And when I turn on the side lights, the entire surface is sort of bathed in a nice even light. And of course, with regular non-glossy pages, this is just completely fine. Again, I can go and put this into a scan here. Here's my graphic novel, very high gloss. Again, I'm using this as a curved book. So you can see on the side, I have a curved book selected. I have my curved book line here, flat scan for the cover maybe. So I'll do a nice flat scan of the cover here. I don't have any type of glare on here because I have those side lights on. I can adjust the book. I can go into my curved book. I can adjust it so that that dividing line is right down that center spine. You can see I get just the tiniest little glare at the very top. One of the things I also like is I get an LCD screen at the top so I can look and see what I'm scanning down below. I really like this. So the Aura right now is just absolutely fantastic for these larger glossy books. Here's the largest book that I have here. So this is the big visual arts. Now, it would appear that the entire book doesn't fit underneath the scanner, but if you look at the LCD screen or if you look at the book below, you can see it's mostly fitting on here. And when I do the actual scans and we review those scans, you're going to see that with the Aura, I'm actually able to get a bit of a nicer page here. So we're going to see a little bit of a nicer scan. Let's review some of those scans and have a look and see what we got. So what I'm going to do is we'll go into my scans. Let's just choose the first scan that I did here. I'll just open it up with photos. I can say always use this app to open this type of file. And underneath here, you can see that I've now got this nice page. So I've got this nice page in here that I can use. It's completely fine for reading. It's completely acceptable. If I go in and I look at the graphic novel, this was, remember, the glossy paper that I had. Look at this. With the glossy paper, fantastic page. Everything is completely readable. Little bit of a glow at the top, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go into the art book here. Now you will notice with the art book, I didn't have the finger cots. I didn't have the whole pattern in there. And that may have been a limitation of the book. Where I was able to put the finger cot and have the entire pattern in there, you can see that what it does is it eliminates, or pretty much eliminates, that finger cot. And now it's time to answer the questions that this video has been leading up to. Which of these two units do I think is the best choice? Which one would I recommend? Which one do I think I'll be using the most? And whatever happened to my flatbed scanner? Well, let's answer the last question first. I'm not going to get rid of my flatbed scanner. It can't scan books very well. It's very bulky. It's certainly not portable, but it does do extremely high resolution scans. I have some need for super high resolution scans, but not very often. So it's going to be a little bit of a shelf item, collecting dust, maybe bring it out once a year. It is already a very old flatbed scanner. In fact, you can't even get driver software for it anymore. I had to buy special software. That's the flatbed. But for these two units, I love them both for different reasons. This one, the Ultra Shine Pro, this is going to be my portable unit. I like the fact it's got a little bit better resolution, although that really doesn't make a huge difference. So it does have the 24 megapixel camera, but that doesn't make a huge difference for most applications. It might if I'm doing some artwork and such. The main reason is it's a very light unit compared to this one. They're not, neither of them are heavy. They're both very portable. But this particular unit, I don't need to bring additional power with me. So I don't have to look for a power outlet. That makes a big difference, especially if you're in a library or a school or a place where you're either fighting for the power outlet or there simply isn't a power outlet available. This will be my unit that I carry with me. Now that being said, I really like the Aura, especially the Auro Pro with the LCD screen on here. The fact I have the side lights, I can do larger books, I can do glossy books. And the difference between the 14 and the 24 megapixel camera really doesn't make that much of a difference, especially if I'm getting scans that I'm going to put on the internet, because you actually won't use high resolution images on the internet. it just doesn't load very fast. So I will be using this mostly for any type of scanning that I'm doing of books, anything glossy, anything thick, anything large, anything that I might be doing in order to maybe create web pages with those images and such. If I was brand new, so this is my recommendation here, I would probably get the Auro, but the Auro Pro X that has the built-in rechargeable battery, because then what you can do is this becomes your portable unit as well. So now you have the ability to create, scans of larger items, plus the side lights to get rid of glare, plus the portability and not having the need for power. So that's what I would probably do. In fact, down below I'll put a link to a discount. You can get 10% off of any scanner that you might buy, and that would actually pay for the upgrade, the $10 difference between the Pro and the Pro X. So this might be the unit that I would recommend the most. The only reason I'd recommend this unit is if you absolutely did need higher resolution scans, and if most of your scanning were things like books or artwork, whereas this would be the more general purpose, larger books, glossy books, thicker books, all of that at a little bit of a lower resolution, but still. This one here I think is also a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than this one. This one looks cool. Like this one's pretty nice. It just swings up. You've got the screen up here to see what you're scanning. I think it just looks kind of neat. You can take this off if you, look at this. If you use it just as a, a scanner here, if you don't need to have the side light on there, you can take that off. But I'm just going to keep that on. I think it looks good. So there you have my recommendations. There you have a comparison between the two. I hope that was helpful. If it was, comment down below, like, subscribe, do all those types of things. Tell me, I'm really curious, which one do you think you might use for your own purposes and why? And if you do have one of these, which one do you have and why? I'm very interested to know that. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.